What's up, gangsters? It's Will, and I am here for my first video of the 2016 model making season. It's, I think today's like January the 10th, and it's a balmy 30-something degrees outside, which is actually kind of a heat wave where I live. I'm in that part of the United States that got destroyed by the record-breaking blizzard a week or so ago, where we had drifts that were 10 feet tall, and like hundreds of cattle went missing. And unfortunately, with the snow arrived a virus, which I still have. I've been fighting one of the worst colds I've ever had for about 2.5, going on 3 weeks now, so that's why I sound ridiculous, and well, more ridiculous than usual. And why I'm talking around a Ricola cough drop. But I've been getting a little more energy and been tinkering a little bit, and I felt like making a video. Especially since a few hours ago I made a post to the Scale Modelers Critique group where I showed some photographs of a little bit of testing that I did on some gloss coats. Now, if you've spent any time at all in model making social groups online, you should know that many people swear by their own particular gloss coat. You'll get almost as much argument about what's the best gloss coat as you will about what's the best primer. And so you've probably heard of Aqua Gloss, and you've probably heard of Tamiya X22. And one of the legends about Tamiya X22 is that if you thin it about 50% with either Tamiya lacquer thinner, or even better, according to the legend, Mr. Color leveling thinner, which I've got right here. And I have to say that I finally got some of this unobtainium juice from a little place called USA Gundam Store that was recommended to me, and they were great, super easy to deal with, got it to me really fast. Anyway, so the story goes that if you thin X22 with one of these two magic substances, and then within minutes of laying down your gloss layer, overspray it with nothing but one of these thinners, that you'll get this magical glass-like surface that is perfect for everything from washes to decals to brain surgery, apparently. So, because I'm always curious, and I like to actually know what's the best, because, hey, if it's the best and I'm not doing it, then I want to fix that. I decided to get some of these materials and actually do a test. Now, the dudes on Scale Modelers Critique group were predictably very dissatisfied with my photographs. And the fact that I asked them if they could identify, without any clues, which area of my little test mule was which. Because as you can see, I've divided it into 6 different sections and sprayed each one of them differently. Now, they were right. The pictures are a lousy way to evaluate the gloss of a surface. When I'm trying to do that, what I look at is the reflections, and how hard the edges of the reflections are is what tells me what level of specularity the surface has and how smooth it is. If it's a very sharp edge on the reflection, then that's got a high level of clarity and specularity, even if there's little nubbles in it that show that it's not necessarily a smooth surface. If it's a very soft edge on the reflection, then you know that that's a diffused surface and the gloss value is not that high. So I thought the pictures were fine, but hey, I took them and I'm admittedly a bit biased. So anyway, since video is a better way of looking at something like this, I decided, what the heck, I'm going to make a video. So I'm going to change the camera angle, and we'll take a look at this up close, and then you guys can see what you think. All right, so I'll tell you what each section is, and attempt to move it around and hold the light on it so that you can get an idea, hopefully, of what the surface characteristics are actually like. Okay, area 1 is X22 thinned 50% with Tamiya lacquer thinner and then oversprayed with Tamiya lacquer thinner. And I should note that all of these were sprayed at 18 psi with my Iwata HPTH, which has a 0.5 millimeter needle. Now, area 2 was only sprayed with the 50-50 mix of Tamiya lacquer thinner and the X22. And to me, it's pretty obvious that the finish is not as good on area 2. And one thing that I noticed when I was spraying it is that the stuff seemed to dry almost as soon as it hit the surface of the paint mule. And it took quite a few layers to build up a nice wet coat. And even when I still noticed that there were some areas that just didn't seem to be well covered. And I think that that's what contributes to this area 2 not looking as glossy. Now, when I oversprayed area 1 with the Tamiya lacquer thinner, and I did that after about the amount of time that it took me to clean the spray gun, it obviously was very wet and glassy looking when I first sprayed that on there, and it maintained that fairly well. So there was a distinct advantage in doing the overspray treatment with the X22 Tamiya lacquer thinner combo. Now, area 3, moving on, is the area where I sprayed straight, uncut X22. And the first thing that I noticed when I did that immediately was that it went on wet with one layer, maybe two. But that 18 psi, it did sputter a little bit coming out of the airbrush. But it definitely left not only the thickest layer, but definitely the glossiest layer. I mean, I think you can see that when you compare the specularity between the areas on either side of it, that the reflections have a much harder edge in that area 3. So that was interesting for me to note. But it also orange peeled some. I don't know if you can see that in there, but there definitely was some orange peel. You can see that now with it up close. So that's not such a good thing. That would sand down pretty easily, I'm sure, but that's a different test. Okay, area 4. This is, to me, pretty interesting, especially since when you look at it this way, area 4 and area 5, to me, look pretty identical. I honestly can't tell much difference, if any, between those two areas. And really, area 6 is also pretty similar. So, which area is which? Area 4 has 2 layers of Allclad aqua gloss on it. And, that's just sprayed straight on there. There's no overcoating or secondary treatment to that at all. Area 6 is just X22 cut 50% with Mr. Color leveling thinner. And it went down like butter. Looked great as I was spraying it. And the nice thing about it was that it really only took one good layer to get that level of finish on it. Area 5, as you've probably already surmised, is the X22 cut with Mr. Leveling Thinner and then immediately oversprayed with Mr. Leveling Thinner. And when I oversprayed it, what I did was I just laid down a single wet layer and then just left it there sitting flat to cure out overnight. So these were all sprayed under identical conditions. I can't think of anything that I did differently with any of these that would really be significant. The paint that I put them down, the surface that I put them down on, really was not any different from what I would have had on a real project, other than the fact that I did absolutely nothing, as I'm sure you can tell, to remove any dust specks. I just threw it in the paint booth and started blowing clear at it. And this is what I got. So, one more sort of tour around each of these areas, and I think you guys can get a pretty good impression of what I did here. Okay, so there you go. You savages over at Scale Modeler's Critique Group backed me into a corner and made me step up to the plate. And hey, that's exactly why we created that group, because we like to go deep, and those dudes, we hold each other to a high standard, and that's that's hopefully how we all improve our craft and our knowledge of the craft. So, thanks for keeping me honest, guys, even though I'm half on my deathbed with this stupid cold. Okay, it's really not quite that bad, but at any rate, I thought this was really interesting. I thought it was kind of a fascinating look, but I get geeky about stuff like that. That's the engineer side of my brain. Someday I think I'm going to do maybe a more, I don't know, precise, if you will, test of all the gloss coats that I can find within arm reach, because I have quite a few of them. And maybe I can satisfy some of you guys who complained about the fact that I sprayed it on, this little piece of junk, and that I didn't have a uniform color and all that. Because really, what I should have done is spray it all on black and not on diarrhea brown, as one guy on another Facebook group complained about. So maybe I'll do a better test at some point. But I thought this was kind of cool and kind of interesting, since it's a subject that gets talked about a lot. So hopefully you agree. All right? Take it easy. I hope you guys are all healthy and warm where you live. Much love.